Number 10. Jurassic Express. This trio, in its current form, is a mid-card act. The gimmick has a well-defined ceiling well beneath main event level. One guy is an ancient dinosaur power flipper, another is Baby Tarzan, and Marco Stunt is Marco Stunt. These infectious personas are part of their continued prominence and popularity and a big key to their success, but it's hard to see these blokes slotting into a headlining role without some kind of evolution. Someday they're gonna need to change things up. For now, however, they're one of the most fun trios in the game. Stunt is a cheeky scamp who bumps like a maniac. Jungle Boy is a growing prospect leveling up through his feud with MJF, and edges closer to Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara every time out. Luchasaurus, meanwhile, is a tremendous hot tag, and he almost plays the group's father and protector, wrecking bullies whenever they get too heavy with the young lads. It's a great dynamic and one they can keep on riding for at least another few years. Number 9. Strictly Business. Bolstered by one of the best world champions in modern wrestling is Strictly Business, the group that Nick Aldis put together to rule NWA Power. We've got Aldis, former NWA World Tag Team Champions Tom Latimer and Royce Isaacs, and Camille, who is legitimately one of the most interesting prospects in America. And while Strictly Business doesn't exactly rewrite the rulebook for arrogant heel units, they succeed by playing the hits well. The NWA fits Strictly Business to a T. Those old school stylings are just perfect for a group like this, particularly when you think about Aldis, whose world champion persona evokes the spirit of classic NWA figureheads. And as for Camille, well, the way the NWA has utilised her thus far has been tremendous. They've drip-fed viewers on her abilities, slowly building towards her first proper TV match, though the ongoing global health crisis came at the worst possible time. It kind of derailed everything, and it's a real shame, because she should be flying by now. Regardless, this is the group of bastards that Power needs at the top of the card. Number 8. La Faction Ingobernables. And you'll have to pardon my pronunciation on that because, well, it's terrible. I'm a fat-tongued twat. Anyway, this Ring of Honor stable comes from the original CMLL group Los Ingobernables, who effectively disbanded when founding members Rush and Bestia del Ring left the promotion. Fortunately, Rush himself has kept the group's scuzzy, rebellious spirit alive in Ring of Honor. La Faction Ingobernables effectively came together in AAA last December. Rush would then form the group's American offshoot at Ring of Honor Final Battle the very next day, bringing real-life brother Dragon Lee, Kenny King, and Amy Rose into the fold, and they have since tasted naught but success. Having retaken the belt back in February, Rush is now a 2-time Ring of Honor champion, while Lee is the reigning TV champion, and with the Woman of Honor championship on ice, these guys effectively have a monopoly on Ring of Honor singles titles. On top of this, I mean, just look at them. They're a perfect bunch of bellends. Rush is amongst the most charismatic wrestlers on the planet, Dragon Lee is an elite luchador, and King is a proven mid-card veteran with bags of attitude. They fit beautifully. Number 7. Bullet Club. After slipping in the wake of the Elite's New Japan departures a couple of years ago, Bullet Club has shot back to prominence. First through the rise of Jay White as the promotion's top foreign heel, and now with Evil's betrayal of Los Ingobernables de Japón. Defeating Tetsuya Naito to capture the IWGP IC and World Championships immediately places Bullet Club back on the top of New Japan's stable pile, because, well, Evil is the guy. It was a genuinely shocking piece of booking, and there's no guarantee that it's actually going to work out, and while only time will tell how it impacts business, the response so far has been very, very mixed. Nonetheless, Bullet Club suffers because the act has barely evolved over the past few years. The Western-style heel tactics are long in the tooth, played out, and boring. Predictability and repetition undermine every big match, as you just know the interferences, distractions, and ref bumps are only ever one beat away, leaving Bullet Club as New Japan's most tedious stable at times, despite their lofty new status.
Hey, World Culture, that's you right there!
Number 6. Suzuki Gun. With Bullet Club taking their mantle as New Japan's biggest bollock merchants, Suzuki Gun is a great faction once more. It's not that they don't run interferences or screw around anymore, but that they just aren't as disruptive. They're not ruining anything these days, and the group has rarely been better as a result. This is a gang of rogue shooters and other rat bastards united by a terrifying mob boss, giving purpose to outcasts and the downtrodden. Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. are amongst the world's finest technical wrestlers. Zack's fellow IWGP Tag Team Champion Taichi is a glorious sports entertainment troll, while El Desperado, Doki and Yoshinobu Kanemaru are as grimy as they come, and yet despite these differences, the group's aesthetic still bleeds seamlessly into each personality. Nobody feels like a true outcast in this group of outcasts. Number 5. The New Day. You can say that the New Day's act is long in the tooth and that you're a little bored of it, and it would be totally fair because enjoyment is subjective. The counter to that, however, is that their endearing popularity and marketability are undeniable. The trio is regularly among WWE's top merch shifters, and always have live crowds amped up even 6 years on from their debut, making them a real oddity in modern American wrestling. A long-established babyface act who haven't faced major backlash in years. Their lofty position in and around the tag team title scene is therefore earned, and each member is both an outstanding wrestler and a great entertainer, no matter what they're asked to do, and they've done a lot of silly stuff over the years if we're being honest. Number 4. The Elite. The AEW Power Group has been bickering since the promotion's inception, and have only grown further apart since Hangman Page, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks fought at Revolution. Page is now drinking buddies with the Bucks Revivals, FTR, and while Kenny remains the man in the middle, increasing flashes of the cleaner keep breaking through his babyface veneer. As for Cody, well, he's off doing his own thing with the TNT Championship, teasing a new 4 Horsemen while Tully Blanchard watches on from the bleachers. This outstanding layered storytelling is primarily why the Elite feature so high. They aren't a united front on television, but each member is playing a key role in the grand unraveling of a mega faction. Whether it ends with them coming back together or splitting apart doesn't even matter. The characters and their conflicting goals and desires almost guarantee a satisfying outcome. On top of this, Page and Omega are amongst the world's best tag teams and 6 months deep on their title run, while Cody is a weekly star-making highlight with the TNT title. As far as success goes, they aren't exactly struggling at the moment, though none of them have been world champion yet. Number 3. The Undisputed Era. Now might be the time for WWE to try something different with Undisputed. Audiences have been gagging to be allowed to earnestly cheer these guys for years, and at the end of Adam Cole's record-breaking NXT title run, well, you're not really going to come up with a better clean slate than that, so why not come up with a different plan, pivot, and maybe turn them babyface? Regardless, Undisputed are as great today as they have ever been, and their chemistry has always been what positions them above every other stable in WWE. Even Roderick Strong, who has never been the most outwardly charismatic wrestler in the world, shines here as a personality. They are simultaneously NXT's clown princes and franchise players. It's a well-balanced dichotomy with scant need for evolution or revolution, as they remain a bankable black and gold commodity. Number 2. Los Ingobernables de Japón. Boo hiss to Tetsuya Naito dropping the IWGP Intercontinental and World titles to Evil, though his stable remains the finest in New Japan. LIJ have been the coolest group in wrestling for years. Naito has taken the rebellious identity he discovered during his failed babyface hangover in Mexico and made it his own, taking the CMLL stable's image and ethos and expanding both to the point that they have eclipsed the original. They aren't exactly losing steam business-wise either, as if you take a quick glance across the average New Japan crowd, you'll see more LIJ shirts than anything else, including Bullet Club. And I mean, when you break down the individual members, they're pretty damn exceptional. We've obviously got Naito, but then there's Hiromu Takahashi, who's like a little brother to him and has the immense superstar charisma required to join him in the main event scene before long. While Shingo Takagi, New Japan's belligerent playground bully, is the never openweight champion and a surefire headliner himself, with his own Naito betrayal storyline just waiting around the corner. Sanada and Bushi are on less compelling arcs, though both remain loyal to the cause. They help hold LIJ together, so let's just hope they don't pull an Evil. Number 1. The Inner Circle. The major complaint against the Inner Circle, outside of AEW bias, is that sometimes they veer into goofball comedy territory when a more serious tone might be better, but you know what? Screw that, because they're really good at goofball comedy. Chris Jericho's gang of right-hand men benefit immensely from being around him, and the Inner Circle's greatest strength is that every single one of them has a role to play. Jericho is the aging rock star leader assembling an army of rascals to do his bidding and be unknowing meat shields whenever the time requires, which plants seeds for a potential split years from now. Now, Jake Hager, who admittedly hasn't gotten over, is the enforcer. Then you've got Sammy Guevara, who's the hand-picked prodigy with loads left to learn, and while Santana and Ortiz are kind of just henchmen at times, there's still so much ground to cover with them. I mean, they're one of the best tag teams on the planet, and they haven't even come close to winning the tag team titles yet. That remains unexplored ground. And situations like that are why the Inner Circle are so damn good. I mean, think of all the things you can do with Guevara, and Jericho himself, well, he's still among wrestling's most effective star makers. This is a great, great group. They don't have any belts at the moment, but they still rule. So that's our list, but what do you guys think, and what is your take on the best stables in wrestling today? Let us know down in the comment section below. After that, you can like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, then follow us on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE and myself at Andy H. Murray. Goodbye!